I'm Ann Handley, Chief Content Officer of Marketing Profs. I've written 2 books on content and on writing, and I speak at the best events all around the world, including this one here in Denmark. The most important thing I talked about at my keynote this morning was embracing the opportunity that we have with email newsletters as a way to nurture our customers and our prospects and grow our community. I talked about how to build trust and how to build affinity with your customers, with your prospects, because in 2020, in 2021, for the next few years, I think that trust and affinity are key to building relationships that last long term for your own companies, for your own products and services. You know, one of my favorite things to talk about is to write to one person in your email marketing, which sounds crazy in a way because your email list is 1,000, 2,000, 400,000 people. It can be massive. But I think instead of thinking about your list or instead of thinking about a segment of your list that you're communicating with, I think it's a whole lot more impactful if you think about that one person who you're trying to affect with your words. The opportunity with an email is that it's written from one person to one person, not a company to a segment, not a company to a group of prospects, but it's written to one person. So I talk about it in the context of writing to Doris. Who is Doris? Doris is the sister of Warren Buffett. Icon, multimillionaire, runs Berkshire Hathaway. He's the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. But when he sits down to write his annual letter to shareholders, he writes to one person. He writes to his sister Doris, who is a shareholder. So how does that apply to email marketing? I think we need to adopt that same mindset when we think about our own list, when we think about our own email communications. Think about that one person you want to affect the most. That's your Doris, and that's who you should write to. Oh my gosh, this conference is the best. I haven't been in Denmark in, what do we say, 6.5 years, which is way too long. It's a fantastic country. The energy here is so amazing. I was a little intimidated when I walked in because I was like, the level of smarts is so high here. Very engaged audience, just really great companies, very smart people. It's fantastic. It's exactly the kind of audience that anyone who is thinking about speaking should speak to, but also if you want to attend, you want to be surrounded with people who can help you elevate your game, who can sort of lift you as well, and that's what you'll see here. You know, marketing there's so many different tactics and techniques and so many different platforms, so many different ways that you can build loyalty and trust with your audiences. But first of all, I think that email is the most effective way to do that. But secondly, when you have a subject-specific conference like this one, you know, it really allows you to go deep. You know, there's sessions here that are getting very granular, using gamification in email, looking at brain science and its effect on how your buyers behave in your email programs. That's the kind of thing that you only get at a subject-specific conference like this one. It'll change your email game, and that's really what we want to do. So think about a subject-specific conference. I think if you are an email marketer or if you want to improve your email game, there's just no better place to be. First thing that everyone here should do when they go back to their offices, first of all, think about what that's going to be like. You're going to sit down to your desk, you're going to have a notebook full of notes. Your brain is going to be just like bursting with all that you've learned here over just a single day. So I think there's 2 things that you can do. Number 1 is to share it internally with your team, because you being here and having all this knowledge, like, don't keep it locked inside of you. I think it's really important to sort of spread the gospel, so to speak, just internally with your team. Let them know like what you learned, why it's important that you really need to rethink your email program. Here are some ways that we can improve it. So that's number 1. And number 2 is really think about your email more broadly. I think in email marketing, there's a tendency to think that we only control this little one thing. Like, we have the list and we control what goes out. But I think just building those relationships internally with the social team, with your digital team, with the C-suite, depending on your organization, I think it's really important to talk about to have conversations with each one of those people. How can we use our email more effectively? And you're going to know because you've learned it all here, but I think spreading that internally as well. So building those relationships and then also just sharing internally what you've learned.